Can we get a round of applause? Can we get a cheer for our live band tonight in the SaCrEd LiGhT community nightcap lounge? Wow. How incredible. Thank you guys. Thank you. Bravo. Beautiful talent. Gotta love that jazz. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to another SaCrEd LiGhT community nightcap. Here presented by SaCrEd LiGhT Healing and Wellness. I am your host, Marcus Crystal Light. And tonight, in the nightcap lounge, grab your snacks, grab your tea, grab your water, grab your cacao or whatever it may be, grab your crystals, get comfortable, as tonight we're going to be exploring a pretty deep topic, and not just deep, but an empowering topic as well. And this topic is something that is talked about quite a bit, but it's also something that is not talked about, and that is our personal divine sovereignty as a spiritual being, or a being of the I Am that is experiencing in this human journey, or in this human avatar. And we're going to be exploring a little bit on how we can arrange our mental perception as well as our mental awareness of our own self and our being through the lens and through the mindset of knowledge surrounding being a sovereign divine being, a being that is beyond the human, that is occupying the human in a temporary time, that is capable of very extraordinary measures of manifestation and power, that is quite beautiful and empowering for each and every one of us. So tonight we'll be exploring a couple of different documents that will be going in depth and detail, giving you guys really broken down information about physical sovereignty, being in these lands and within these corporations, as well as mental sovereignty and spiritual sovereignty. So we'll be exploring the layers of sovereignty a little bit, and we're going to be doing multiple parts. We're definitely not going to be able to fit all that we would like into just one part, that's for sure, when it comes to sovereignty, when it comes to our multidimensional being. So we'll be exploring a little bit of our physical sovereignty, and then we'll briefly explore a little bit about our spiritual sovereignty as light beings. So that is what we'll be exploring tonight in the Nightcap Lounge. So thank you all for joining. Enjoy the music. Go ahead and get comfortable. Feel free to share and send this out to any brothers and sisters that you know would really like this information tonight, or would like to just be a part of this community space. Thank you all for being here. Enjoy. Remember, guys, to hydrate, clean water. So along the way, if you guys could just turn it down just a little bit for me, I really appreciate it. So we'll also be doing a exercise or an activity, so to say, together that I will lead for us, and it could be used through writing or typing or mentally as well, or just saying out loud. But we're going to create our own sovereignty decree that we can use as an affirmation for our being at any time, as much as we would like throughout the day or night. And the power of sovereignty decrees is it just helps you really be able to ultimately shed layers, shed cords, clear out blockages, clear out any distortions or chaos, confusion that could really be in your being, in your space, causing resistance from you being in your balance, being in your harmony, and being in your wholeness state. So sovereignty decree helps with that, depending upon what words you use and the intention that you utilize with the decree. And a little bit later on, I will guide us through how to create one and create one with you guys. Oh. It's going to be a very educational night tonight. Alright, so for all of you, out there, welcome in, Hyperion. Welcome in. Good to see you, Hugo. So for all of you out there that are tapping in, the reason why that the intention tonight is to focus on our sovereignty and our divine sovereignty is so we can really have a remembrance of the power within ourselves, as well as the capability of what we can do and what is possible at our hands when it comes to our mind, body, and emotional awareness, all being in tune, us being conscious of these different aspects of our being. And while we're being conscious of these aspects of our being, we're really becoming more in tune and more harmonized with what it is that we need to do in our daily lives that supports our multidimensional being. Now, multidimensional, what do I mean? Well, for me, through my intention of what I'm saying by multidimensional is, a being that is multifaceted, multi-layered. And when you look at the human being, you kind of look at the human being like this, two-dimensional and three-dimensional. But what we don't realize is that we can't see with our physical eyes is that there's actually a whole entire spread out aura of layers of bodies that make up who we are as beings. So as beings, we are actually more than just these physical bodies, these physical avatars, these human beings. The physical body, if we go into ancient teachings as well as different studies like traditional medicine and others, you see that within the aura, the physical body is actually just the most dense. It is the most grossest version of our being, of who we are. So with that being said, there's multi-layers to our being within the aura. And if you guys tap in on the YouTube version of this nightcap, I'll have some graphic videos and graphic images for you guys showing the layers of the aura as well as the chakras. And that'll be on the YouTube version tomorrow. SaCrEd Light Healing and Wellness. So with that being said, when you become aware of these layers of your being, such as the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, the light body, the astral, and beyond, when you become aware and become in tune with all these different bodies of your layers within your aura, you're then able to start becoming more of that multidimensional being that you naturally are. And you're able to become aware of what type of patterns or what type of energies are within my mental body that are causing resistance and creating illness in my being. Or where in my emotional body am I feeling blocked up, or am I feeling overtly emotional due to certain experiences and attachments that are within my emotional body. And then physical body, for example, we then are able to tap into why is there a lower back issue? It's not just because I'm getting older. This lower back issue has some type of spiritual or memory-based meaning to it. As in, there's an experience or a accumulation of experiences that took place energetically, metaphysically, that then created that resistance within your physical being. So this is what holistic is. A holistic approach to healing is diving into all of these layers, going into the roots, going into the mental, going into the emotional, going into the physical, and really seeing how these all played a part and how the cause was to the effect and how the effect was from the cause. That's a Hermetic principle for those of you that are into the esoterics, the Kabbalion, Hermetic principles. Every cause has an effect, every effect has a cause. There are no coincidences in the creative universe. So, the reason why I'm sharing this is the more that we become aware of who we truly are as a multidimensional being and not just a human vessel, and we identify more from supreme awareness or God consciousness rather than body consciousness, as they call it, or ego consciousness. And when we're perceiving and choosing to decide our life dictated off of ego consciousness or body consciousness, then we actually give ourselves a limited scope of options and opportunities and the way that we view our own power and energy. And then we limitate our own self and choose out of our own free will to limitate ourselves. And this is kind of leading us into what our topic is tonight, which is our divine sovereignty. Because our free will is something that cannot be taken from us. Our free will is basically what you can call the front runner of our sovereignty. So each and every one of us has free will as a human being on this planet. That is something that cannot be taken 100%, no matter what. The only thing that can happen is we can be manipulated, we can be brainwashed, we can be conditioned, we can be directed or whatever to make a choice for ourselves based off of the manipulation that took place. But that being said, that still does not take away from the power that we have of our free will of choice. So when we kind of take a step back and really try to get back to basics here as human beings, and like real human beings here, as in multidimensional beings that are capable of tapping into sovereign divine power in any moment, because that is what our fabric and essence is as beings here experiencing in the human vessel. So with this all being said, a lot of times we talk about physical sovereignty and just like going off grid and things like that. That's not what I'm here to talk about tonight. Tonight, this is more about what can you do right now within your own self and with your own being, with basically nothing but your own self. And that is, you can start reprogramming and aligning your mental awareness, your mind body, or your subconscious to sovereign principles, divine principles, and just being sovereign to universal law. And that is a process that you can start right now, today, in this live, as I'll actually be giving you some documentary footage that will give you insight, truth, and real facts to how you can start rearranging your consciousness about how you view yourself, how you are able to become aware of the wisdom of being a divine sovereign being. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start up the first document for us, as we will go ahead and dive into our sovereignty lesson for tonight on the nightcap. Buckle up, everybody, because we're in for a ride tonight. And I was going to say, hopefully I'm able to save this live, get it on YouTube, and fulfill what I want to with this. I trust I will. And just know this is going to be very empowering information that I suggest that you share with your family, your friends, anybody that you find that you want to have sovereign self-awareness for their own self and their being. Thank you, guys. I love you all.
Woodrow Wilson. Soon every American will be required to register their biological property in a national system designed to keep track of the people, and that will operate under the ancient system of pledging. By such methodology, we can compel people to submit to our agenda, which will affect our security as a chargeback for our fiat paper currency. Every American will be forced to register or suffer being unable to work and earn a living. They will be our chattel, and we will hold their security interest over them forever by operation of the law merchant under the scheme of secured transactions. Americans, by unknowingly or unwittingly delivering the bill of ladings to us, will be rendered bankrupt and insolvent, forever to remain economic slaves through taxation, secured by their own pledges. They will be stripped of their rights and given a commercial value designed to make us a profit, and they will be none the wiser. For not one man in a million could ever figure out our plans, and if by accident one or two should figure it out, we have in our arsenal plausible deniability. After all, this is the only logical way to fund government, by floating liens and debt to the registrants in the form of benefits and privileges. This will inevitably reap to us huge profits beyond our wildest expectations, and leave every American a contributor to this fraud, which we will call social insurance. Without realizing it, every American will insure us for any loss we may incur, and in this manner, every American will unknowingly be our servant, however begrudgingly. The people will become helpless and without any hope for their redemption, and we will employ the high office of the president of our dummy corporation to foment this plot against America.
If I was to ask you, how do you define person, what would the normal definition in our community be for that word, human being? And if we take a look at the dictionary, it says a human being regarded as an individual. That's what we would normally view the word person to be. In law, okay, now we're using their words whenever you're dealing with corporations and the government and all that kind of stuff. Person means an individual or incorporated group having certain legal rights and responsibilities. Not a human being regarded as an individual, but as an individual or corporation. So they actually said, compare artificial person and natural person. So I did. So I looked it up and I compared them. Artificial person, a legal entity, not a human being. Natural person, a natural person is a human being that has the capacity for rights and duties.
We, as sovereign human beings, are a higher life form than a corporation. In order for them to control us, they had to have parity.
The heart of the grand deception, keeping us mired in the whirl of money, is keeping from us all the fact that almost every country operates with the artificial and natural person merged together as one. That means humans are being given the rights of corporations, i.e., no human rights, and artificial corporate persons are being given the rights and privileges of natural persons, more and more so. And the ones aware of this are profiting from it in a multitude of ways.
What I uncovered was that when a person is registered from birth, it's at that point in time that they are actually being created, or that a legal person is being created and associated with them. And it's kind of like, it's at that point where you join a club, and when you join this club, you're given, say, a membership card. The card itself would be your person, as opposed to the human being who is the member of the club.
On the screen, there's a little baby.
Alright guys, so now we're going to go ahead and explore document number 2. And then we'll see where we're at from there.
I looked through and I suddenly saw what they were doing. This is their little trick. You are not obliged to register your children. If you do, it is at that point that you're creating a legal entity or a person. You are associating this person with your offspring. You are abandoning ownership or title to that person. And the government is seizing that under the laws of maritime salvage. It becomes their chattel property. They use it as collateral to float loans or to float bonds for loans.
You are a man or a woman, you have a person. My name is John Harris, or John, or my wife calls me lots of other names, but there you go. I shan't discuss them. I exist naturally. Okay? I'm here. I'm real. I was created by divine, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to get into any of this sort of, I don't know what it is, so I just say divine, it's the easiest way. But I was created. I'm subject to common law jurisdiction. I must never harm another or cause another loss, any form of loss. I'm free and unlimited ability to contract and settle debt in private and under commercial law. I can basically do as I please as long as I abide by these principles. My person, that's attached to me, is Mr. J. Harris, who's a fictional entity created by the government. Subject to civil policy jurisdiction, must fulfil all duties given to and governed by corporate policy, tax, etc. under statute. Does business in the public sector, I don't. The creation of the person. When you were born, your mother, father, submitted a birth certificate registration application form. In the formulation of any limited company corporation, there is always a certificate of registration to create its legal personality. Your fictional person, known by Mr., Mrs. or blah, 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 you can see it up there, is created by the same means. When you submit, you are bending to another's will. Okay? So you're bending, you're agreeing to bend to their will. When you register, you are handing over title ownership of whatever you're registering to whoever you are registering it to. You actually physically hand this over. And in doing this, you acknowledge the transferring of that authority. When you apply, it actually means you're begging. And when you beg, it's assumed you know what you're begging for and you know what you're going to give up.
All right. And now, we'll go to number 3.
Know who you are. If you go to court, which I've had a few accountants with, to say the least, it's a corporate place of business. And they will immediately ask you for your name. Okay? Your name. They will even presume to know who you are. And they will ask you as such. They would say to me, Mr. Harris. Mr. is the title of something with legal personality status. I was named by my parents, but I wasn't called Mr. John Harris. Well, I think so. If I reply yes, guess what I've agreed to represent? A man cannot be acted upon by statutes, nor can a woman, a human being, a living soul. These only apply to the fictional entity which is the legal personality, i.e. Mr. John Harris in full caps or Mr. J. Harris. Every title in this land is a fiction. Common law v. statute, rules and policy. I like this. The only basic principles that any people of any nation need to adhere to are those of natural law, which are mirrored in common law. Never harm or cause loss. It covers every eventuality. There is nothing it doesn't cover. Nothing. Common law applies to a man or a woman, a living soul. Statute rules apply to the person only when the man or woman consents to represent the person. Consent can be given in inaction or action. Within statute rules, you will just receive a summary judgment. That's what you get in the courts of law, or supposedly. But it's called summary judgment. And what summary judgment is, it doesn't matter if whatever court you go into, as long as that court's going to make money from someone, because that's all it's about. And there's a reason they want to extract that revenue from you. There is such a reason.
All right. Now, with all this being said, we're now going to explore into a little bit of Billy Carson. And this is going to be about the Merkaba light body vehicle. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is going to be because this is going to give us a higher perspective, a more whole perspective of our multidimensionality when it comes to our sovereignty. And this is more of looking at the energetic, the spiritual, and the co-creative side of our sovereignty compared to our physical government system sovereignty.
The energy in you is divine, making you divine, making you a creator as well, or nothing would even be here. This book wouldn't be written, this podium wouldn't be created, this laptop wouldn't exist. All of us are creators. Because why? As above, so below. We're duplicating what the creator does. So what I'm saying to you is there's a process to get to this level of understanding to be able to make this creation and manifest reality. And that involves quantum mechanics and quantum physics. That's the underlying basis. That's the 2 times 2. All things in all universes move according to law. And the law which regulates the movement of the planets is no more immutable than the law which regulates the material expressions of man. One of the greatest of all cosmic laws is that which is responsible for the formation of man as a material being. The main objective is to reveal the workings of the law which connect the man the material and man the spiritual. The connecting link between the material man and the spiritual man is the intellectual man, for the mind partakes of both the material and immaterial qualities. The aspirant for higher knowledge must develop the intellectual side of his nature and so strengthen his will that is able to concentrate all powers of his being on and in the plane he desires. The great search for light, life, and love only begins on the material plane. Carried to its ultimate, its final goal is complete oneness with the universal consciousness. The foundation in the material is the first step, then comes the higher goal of spiritual attainment. Concealed in the words of Thoth are many meanings that do not appear on the surface. Light of knowledge brought to bear on these tablets will open many new fields for thought. Read and be wise, but only if the light of your own consciousness awakens a deep-seated understanding, which is the inherent quality of the soul. We're talking about some deep stuff here today, guys. And we're going to go in. We're going to really get deep. The universe runs on natural laws. And these are some of the laws that I talk about quite a bit. Binding immutable conditions that govern consequences of behavior. General principles of natural law. The principle of mentalism, which we're going to talk about right away. The principle of correspondence. The principle of vibration. The principle of polarity. The principle of rhythm. The principle of cause and effect. And the principle of gender. The principle of mentalism, which is really primarily the majority of what we've got to talk about today, is understanding that all is mind. Everything is mind, as above, so below. We are most likely living in a fractal holographic conscious mind matrix. And so when you look and analyze the way that the synapses occur between the neurons in the brain, you begin to realize that it creates this holographic type of a field that your brain projects, and it's the same exact thing for the universe. So we're living in a fractal holographic matrix, and that doesn't take away the fact that it could be a biological entity. It just, that's the format that's used to generate this illusion of reality. The fact that you think you're sitting here isn't even an illusion. There's 7.5 billion people on Earth. But if I take away all the empty space and the atoms of every person on this planet, I can fit everybody into one sugar cube. You're not even here. You're not even here. This is what you've got to understand. As a matter of fact, one of the white papers I'm working on is talking about atoms of 99.999% empty space. And one of the white papers I'm talking about with working on trash, dumps, is removing empties using a specific type of energy source to remove the empty space, collapse the empty space in between the atoms and the trash. You can have 50 tons of trash be less than a crumb if you can remove the empty space. So that's the future of trash management. It's not going to be burning and trying to turn it into gas and all this other kind of crazy stuff. It's going to be just removing the empty space in the atoms, and it's gone. Memory. So some scientists got 20 people together, and they took them out into a city area today. We're going to talk about the neocortex. You know the movie The Matrix, Neo? Well, they got the name from the neocortex. Okay? And the neocortex is Latin for new bark or new rind. It's also called the neophallium. It's part of the brain in mammals. It's the outer layer of the cerebral hemispheres and made up of 6 layers labeled 1 through 6, 6 being the innermost and 1 being the outermost. And the neocortex is the part of the cerebral cortex, and it's also sometimes known as the archaeocortex or paleocortex. They're cortical parts of the limbic system in humans, but the most important part about this is it's involved in higher functions such as sensory perception, generation of motor commands, spatial reasoning, conscious thought, and language. So it's not just a name. They call them neo for a reason. Conscious thought is the biggest part of this, spatial reasoning, understanding the world around you, being able to navigate through this matrix and how it works, and seeing beyond the veil. So we're going to talk about how light equals intelligence. Light is actually intelligent. Not only light, we're going to find even something else is intelligent, but it's really going to blow you away. But light definitely equals intelligence.
Right. So, that was some wonderful information regarding, different aspects and different layers of looking at our divine sovereignty as multidimensional human beings on this planet. And with that being said, there's a lot that could be talked about or that could be covered with what was just shared and talked about, of course. And I'm going to go ahead and, band, if you may, go ahead and play it up again. There we go. Okay, so, as I was saying, we can look at sovereignty in many different layers and many different aspects. From physical sovereignty to mental sovereignty as a spiritual being. And it all ties in. It's all parallel of each other, and they're attached to each other. So, with Billy Carson, when Billy Carson's talking about our light body vehicle, or Merkaba, and our ability to be able to shapeshift as light beings with the Merkaba field. Welcome in, Cosmic Spirit. Good to see you, Casey, as well. As I was saying, Billy Carson's touching on how we're, divine beings of light, and that we have these Merkaba light body fields that allow us to be able to transport and access divine knowledge and information at any time and any moment through our light body field. And he kind of touched on also how, the light body kind of corresponds with the physical body. And the light body, just to briefly touch on it, the light body is where the chakras come in. I know you guys have probably heard about chakras in anime, cartoons, and shows, or in cliches about spirituality. Or some of you really know what chakras are all about.
In your note, you said you could teach me to gain control of the avatar state. How?
You must gain balance within yourself before you can bring balance to the world. And the first step to gaining balance begins with this. Drink up.
Ugh! It tastes like onion and banana juice.
That's because it is. Yum, yum. In order to master the avatar state, you must open all the chakras. And tell me everything you know about chakras.
What are chakras?
Oh, I see. I guess we'll start with the basics. The water flows through this creek much like the energy flows through your body. As you see, there are several pools where the water swirls around before flowing on. These pools are like our chakras.
So chakras are pools of spiraling energy in our bodies?
Exactly. If nothing else were around, this creek would flow pure and clear. However, life is messy and things tend to fall in the creek. And then what happens?
The creek can't flow?
Yes, but if we open the paths between the pools,
the energy flows.
There are 7 chakras that go up the body. Each pool of energy has a purpose and can be blocked by a specific kind of emotional muck. Be warned. Opening the chakras is an intense experience, and once you begin this process, you cannot stop until all 7 are open. Are you ready?
I'll do whatever it takes.
First, we will open the Earth Chakra, located at the base of the spine. It deals with survival,
chakras are a part of that light body. And that light body is basically our blueprint. It's like our roadmap. It's our foundation, kind of our physical being and our physical representation. Without the light body, without our energetic body, we wouldn't be able to have characteristics, we wouldn't be able to function, we wouldn't be able to have divine energy flow into our being. So that's why it's important when you start becoming aware of the chakras, you see for yourself the importance of the chakras and why clearing out our energy field to make sure that our toroidal field is charged, powerful, and clear really goes a long way with our manifestations, with our interconnected divine sovereignty, and ability to access just overall peace and abundance. And there's much more that I can touch on, of course, about all of this, which I'm sure we may ponder on in other nightcap spaces. But so, when you become aware of these different layers of our being and who we truly are, you become aware that, okay, I am a multidimensional light being that is a co-creator with the divine creator of all life. And you really sink that in and really get that programmed into your conscious mind and your subconscious as well. You really start to look at yourself a little bit differently. And you also start to look at others a little bit differently. And with that being said, for me, it's at least developed a way deeper feeling of compassion, a way deeper feeling of unconditional love, and super abundance. Like, honestly, so abundant that it feels like there's no such thing as abundance. That is the type of feeling that, embodying and being aware of Christ consciousness, unity consciousness, however you'd like to term it, can really feel. So that's what tonight is really all about. It's giving you guys opportunities, giving you guys keys, giving you guys nuggets to be able to take on your own with a grain of salt, if you would like, and really integrate it into your own consciousness. And with that being said, I want to talk a little bit about the importance of our mental sovereignty. And, I know physical sovereignty is kind of what we think of when we talk about sovereignty. But I like to think about mental sovereignty before physical sovereignty, because I feel like it's accessible to everybody right now in this moment, physically, and it doesn't require anything besides your own self-awareness and a little bit of guidance and becoming aware of knowledge and tools. So with mental sovereignty, our mental consciousness is really going to be almost everything when it comes to the way that we are choosing to perceive life, the way that we are communicating consciously with the universe and with creation, and what it is that we wish to manifest, what it is that we wish to embody and experience. These things are all key when it comes to our mental sovereignty. So when you come into this world, you're birthed into this earth. And with that being said, you've already been a living being before this. You've already been a conscious being or conscious awareness before this body and before this avatar. And that's why when you see, many different shows and movies and other things showing these kind of ideas, it comes from somewhere. It's all being reflected to us from within us to remind us of who we are and to also just enjoy and express the different versions of ourselves. So keep that in mind as we continue. And if you guys need me to like slow down or anything, just let me know. I know this can be very heavy, but not in the way of dense heavy, but just a lot on shifting the consciousness and awareness. So let me kind of ground myself back into where I was. Okay, yes. Now, our mental sovereignty. Now, the reasons why I find it important, our mental sovereignty, is what we are choosing as our belief systems, what we are choosing to be our programming and conditioning. It is a major factor. And when I say major, good Lord, major is an understatement. It is a major factor in the reality that you are law of mentalism for everybody out there. The law of mentalism. Everything in the universe is mental. With that being said, the things that you are consenting to mentally, things that you are declaring as your belief system and affirming with your own being as a supreme, divine, oneness being of co-creation that is of the creator fabric and essence. What you command to the universe, unconsciously and consciously, is being heard, seen, felt, and everything else by the conscious universe. And then with that being said, as conscious co-creators, the conscious universe then abides by our commands, our affirmations, through our mentalism. And we find ourselves placing our own self in our own traps, our own downfalls, quote unquote. And these terminologies are kind of just directions of what I'm describing. It's not really, black and white, so to say. So, what it is that we take on as our belief system ultimately is going to govern the way that we choose to experience our reality. With that being said, think about why there is so much propaganda. Think of why there is so much forcing and trying and constant manipulation to want to create contracts, create binds and ties. Just take a moment to think about why there's so much of that in this realm that we're in here. Now, Think about this for a moment, alright? I think you guys will like this one. Take a moment to think about this for a moment. What use is it, or what good is it, to sign into a contract or sign over our power and our gifts or our talents to someone else that has different intentions that are way off from ours, of what we are creating? If we are the one that already created it and are capable of spreading it, it's almost like there is quite a bit of... See, I don't like to use the word unnecessary because all is necessary while everything is not necessary at the same time. But for me in this human existence and experience, I find that I try to, as little as possible, sign into contracts, sign into, different negotiations of giving away my freedoms or my powers over my own being and my own skills and gifts. And the reason doing so is I just feel like it's ultimately not necessary. And I kind of walk with, faith in myself and being connected to the source, being connected to the divine. Knowing that being present and being able to exist and being in existence, being conscious of existence, is alone the sign that I am divinely meant to be here. With that being said, that's my foundation. That's your foundation. What can shake that foundation? What is there to debate? What is there to take away from being divinely here and being empowered by knowing that I am divinely here? And while I'm divinely here, I was divinely crafted with free will. And with that free will, I can destroy and I can create. Because it's all really not being destroyed and not being created. It's just being changed into different forms. Let's let breathe for a moment. We've been getting a little deep. Hydrate, everybody. Make sure you guys are drinking clean water, drinking some tea or whatever it may be tonight, as we are chilling in the Nightcap Lounge. We're getting really deep tonight. We're talking about some sovereignty and just being conscious of our human rights. our spiritual sovereignty as divine multidimensional humans. Kaya, we are an hour in. We did a little bit of documents. We watched some documentary stuff a little bit about sovereignty, as well as the Merkaba light body. And you can watch in the replay if you would like, or on YouTube tomorrow. And yeah, we watched some documents together regarding sovereignty in your physical life, and just what to be aware of when it comes to corporate entities, persons, and other information regarding our physical self and human life. You know, I'm kind of in the mood now. To just really start speaking the truth. To really just start planting it for us all to see. The stuff that nobody wants to share. The stuff that people may feel could be too much. It's time. It's time that we remember who we are. In a nice, compassionate way, in a really loving way as well, you know. Just really be gently reminded of the knowledge of what we are as multidimensional human beings. Know that we are more than just these human beings. But the whole point is to learn what the human being is and what your authentic human being is, so you can basically become like the captain, you know, the self-master of this vessel, this vehicle. And with that being said, you then start anchoring in and grounding in your light body, or your higher self, so to say. And that light body integrates into your physical body more, which is why we balance our chakras, activate our chi and our energy centers. When we anchor this and balance it with our human being more and more, we're then able to access more of our light body abilities, which is also our psychic abilities, such as telepathy, clairvoyance, clairsentience, as well as foresight, prophecy. And when you get to the extra dimensional gifts that we have, when we're super in our light body, which is going to become a wow. Things were heating up for a moment there. Holy smokes. That's crazy. Ooh. Anyway. Jeez. We're getting a little hot tonight in the lounge. Alright. We're gonna let the band play for a moment. We're gonna bring it down a little bit. Holy smokes. Oh wow. I love when there can be some humor mixed in with serious knowledge. It's really nice. It's really nice. Humor is a great balance for serious knowledge and education. Especially when you're learning about this type of degree. You know, this type of shadowy information about the world that we're in. So, it can be kind of heavy sometimes. On the emotions, on the psyche. can get you feeling in certain ways, especially as a human being with emotions. So, everybody out there, let me know in the comments if you're keeping up with what I'm presenting to you guys. If what I'm saying is making sense and bringing clarity to you guys. Feel free to let me know in the comments. I would greatly appreciate it, because I do want to be able to articulate and communicate to you guys where it's able to be, really digested and integrated as something conscious for you. Great. Glad to hear it. Thank you guys all for being here in the Nightcap Lounge tonight. Yeah, we're doing things a little differently. We're stepping up, we're stepping forward, and we're standing in our power, we're going to stand in our truth, and we're going to start really standing in speaking and sharing through love for our brothers and sisters, the truth about who we are as multidimensional beings, as divine spiritual sovereign beings experiencing in the human experience. With that being said, we are unleashing the knowledge and wisdom for any and all of you that come across this, as well as any more of these spaces to come. It is going to be intentionally based off of giving us the opportunity to really just become aware of our foundation, our blueprint, our codes, the makeup of what we are and who we are in this human existence. And, I feel like this is one of the biggest forms of love, is to openly and vulnerably express, the truth, our divine truth of who we are when it comes to our essence and our true self, the self beyond the temporary human flesh, the self that is, capable of astral projection, the self that's able to tap into the Akashic records, the self that is aware that you're connected to all of existence, all of nature, all human beings, the God of your life, creator, source, all connected, every bit, every moment, whether you believe it or not. But when you accept that, you accept that all is divine within the fabric of all material. Wow. You start viewing things differently. You start viewing yourself differently when it comes to your capabilities, your choices, the way that you move with your energy, the way that you give your energy to others or receive energy from others. So when you go into the physical essence or the physical side of, sovereignty and what we're speaking on. So, say that these beings, these, however you really like to describe it, draconian-like beings, reptilian beings, whatever you would like to call them, think about their strategies and tools that they utilize to be able to manipulate us into making our own free will choices become our own axis in our life. For example, what I'm saying here is there's purposely been specific marketing, specific promotions, specific things within our foods, and our drinks, and our water, and within a lot of different things in our life, in the mainstream. And those ingredients, those chemicals, those artificial things, and other things that we are digesting and consuming, it, frequency-wise, there we go. It frequency-wise brings down our frequency and our vibration. And with that being said, that starts deteriorating our immune system. It starts blocking up our energy centers, which connect us to our light body. Our light body is what gives us, our information, our internal system. It is what gives us our intuition. It is what gives us our inner guidance. It is what gives us the sensing and the capabilities of feeling anything in the physical world. It is amazing what happens when we become aware of these layers of our human being. And I know this is kind of a unloading of a big download. Whoa. Again. Holy smokes. We're on fire over here. Okay, so I know this may be quite an unloading of information and knowledge for some of us, especially with just what we've been programmed or conditioned to and what we've been taught about life and existence. But I know that it could have been quite a bit for some of us, and this is really just the breaking open of what is going to be an exploration together here in this NiGhT journey of going through sovereignty in many different perspectives, from our mental sovereignty to our physical sovereignty, and just really connecting it all in on a micro to macro level of, bridging and becoming aware of the balance of being in our higher conscious awareness, but also being grounded and being fully capable in our human existence to have our human rights and to be able to exercise your energetic and spiritual sovereignty as a divine spiritual being of light that is experiencing as a free will human being here on this planet Gaia grid. That is what we are exploring here in the NiGhT for this series that we are embarking upon regarding our sovereignty and our divinity. So for those of you that are just joining, Earlier on in this session, we explored a few documentaries regarding our sovereignty, corporations, birth certificates, as well as identifying certain labels and identities, and how to detach, and the importance of mental sovereignty and what we are choosing as our belief system and our reality. And we also explored briefly a little bit about the Merkaba and just looking at ourselves through the perspective and lens as a light body being. So as we continue to go forward in the NiGhT, we will have more episodes in this series where we'll be touching on more of sovereignty when it comes to the light body side of things, as well as physical steps that you can take to start really programming and aligning your human life with your own spiritual sovereignty. Alright, so we're gonna let the band play for a moment, cool it down a little bit. Alright, y'all, so I'm back. How's the band treating you guys? Got me some hummus. It's a honey hummus. And blue corn tortilla chips. Pretty soon I'll have some live performances coming on the NiGhT. I'm sure I'll be able to get my sister Cosmic Spirit, who's in the comments, to hop on sometime and do a live performance for us. You know, snacks are one of the best things about being a sovereign being on Earth. I'll say it again. You heard me right. Snacks are the best thing about our sovereignty on Earth. Snacks, snacks, snacks. Best thing ever invented on Earth. You know, what would free will be? What would free will be without the choice of snacks? What would it be? Man. Okay, band, you set me up, aren't you? The band set me up. What would life be if we weren't able to have the snacks that I see in the store when I go down the lane with my basket in hand? I like to pick the ones that are spick and span, but not shiny though, because I realize it's that poisonous dye though. Ooh. Poisonous dye though. No, 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 no. Poisonous dye though. No, 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 no. No way. No poisonous dyes for me. I just want to be alkaline, organic, full of fresh, pure vibes. You know? Keep me light and clean, whistling and harmonic like a wind chime that is blowing in the breeze. Because it is me, this form of the I am that is in the physicality. And you see, I'm only able to access because I believe in me, in my multidimensionality. And this is what happens when you see and remember who is thee, which is the holy prophecy and the living form and flesh that is the best and nothing less, which is me and you. Pick and choose what you want to experience and do. It doesn't matter because it's all just illusions of the truth. For you to move through, collect the information, and do what you do. So, that's all I gotta say to you. Go ahead, band. Take over. Wow. Okay, so let me ask you guys a question. Who is the one that chose and put forth the actions for you to be here right now in this moment, listening to me speak, whether it's live or whatever moment in time and space that you see this? Who is the person that chose to bring your being, bring your conscious awareness of your individual self to this moment right here to receive this and be present? Who did that? Take a moment to think. Who's the person that did that?
This is Jeopardy! Please welcome today's contestant.
It certainly was not me. I brought my being here when it comes to our individual consciousness. prime example of your sovereignty? The answer is you. You chose to bring your own self here. And that's what you do. You make choices in each moment of what you experience and do in each moment. And you make a choice, or you make no choice. Or, it just is. So, with that being said, we're trying to remember that, we're trying to come back to the remembrance of that is how powerful we are. That is how limitless we are. That is our true essence of who we are and what we are as beings. With that, we kind of reprogram ourselves to that more often. And with that being said, it becomes more of what we're running our programming off of. It changes the whole entire source of energy that we're working with in our daily life when we're sleeping. It also changes the way that we are attracting energy and attracting beings into our life. It also shifts the way that we are perceiving life, as well as the way that we are operating within our being, because our being is operating off of a different conscious awareness of itself. And it is also in a state where it's more supported, and it's more trusted, and it has faith developed within it. With that being said, you start exploring and opening up way more opportunities and avenues within yourself of your own gifts, your skills, capabilities, and things that you can access within any moment. So, with that being said, we're going to dive more into wow. The energy is getting hot tonight. I know, we're bringing in we're anchoring in a vortex tonight. Tonight we are anchoring in some serious energies, for real. This is some heavy knowledge that we're taking on tonight. And it's beautiful when we can explore this type of knowledge together and become aware simultaneously. Okay, so we'll touch more on sovereignty, as well as the importance of mental sovereignty and what that looks like even more as we continue more into the next nightcap. But since we're getting a little low on battery, I'm going to go ahead and lead us into and open us up with our practice or exercise. And our practice or exercise tonight is going to be writing or creating our own sovereignty decree. So I'm sure some of you guys may have heard of sovereignty decrees before. You may have read some as well. And basically a sovereignty decree is just an affirmation or a statement from you to the universe, you to the creator or creation, whatever. You affirming with all of creation that you are reclaiming all that you are. You're reclaiming your sovereign power. And with that being said, however you orchestrate it, however you articulate it, you then shed layers and you release attachments and cords and begin to clear out blockages and density that are causing resistance in your being from being your whole, balanced, sovereign self. So it's really powerful when we create these decrees and then use them as a type of affirmation or prayer and meditation to really exercise our metaphysical free rights and freedom. And with that, it also alters our chemistry and the perception of our life. So if you guys want to, grab a piece of paper or grab your laptop, your phone, whatever you may like to use. And we're going to just create a nice little sovereignty decree. And you guys don't have to share it, or you can if you would like. And if you guys want to hop on to share it, let me see. Yeah, we have about 10% battery. So if you want to hop on for just a moment to share your sovereignty decree with the collective here in this SaCrEd Light Community Nightcap, feel free to let me know and send a request, and I'll let you come on to share your decree. Just know that we have 10% battery, so we're going to be wrapping up here shortly. But I'll go ahead and give you an example of a sovereignty decree. Your sovereignty decree could be something like, I am coming forth now to affirm that I am releasing and letting go of all attachments, all fractions of my energy that are within time and space, causing imbalances from my being that are keeping me from being fully present and whole with my being. I am declaring that I am free, that I am God's sovereign free, that I am able to make my own free will choices in every moment, and I may reclaim back my power from all timelines into this present moment and present consciousness of myself and my being. I am who I am, connected with all that is, forever and always eternally. May I continue to remember who I am as a sovereign divine being, and so it is. So that could be an example of a sovereignty decree. So feel free to go ahead and write that out, or type it out, or just think of it mentally if you would like. And this is something that you can keep forever, share with others, share with your family. And what you could do with your decree is, you can use it as like an affirmation tool daily. You know, you can repeat it a few times in a row. Put on some frequencies or meditation music while you do it. Maybe even make a crystal grid or an altar for it. And just remember, as I talk about, which you guys can actually access my SaCrEd Light Meditation, Subconscious Reprogramming, and Brain Rewiring Workshop for just a donation. Now available. I have the recording available for you guys, and you guys can actually have the digital copy of the workshop. It's an hour workshop, and I go in depth on the holistic side of subconscious rewiring and brain reprogramming. With that, you can do a journaling space that I lead, as well as a guided meditation for the integration space. And you guys can access that through just direct messaging me, and I'll send you over the digital copy of the workshop, and it's just a donation. So you can donate as little as you would like or as much as you would like, and I'll send it over to you. So reach out to me if you guys are interested. Hey, grand day. What's going on, everybody? Welcome. How are you today? Thank you for joining in and entering this Sacred Light meditation space. And today on the Sacred Light meditation space, we are going to be exploring the focus and the topic of subconscious reprogramming and brain rewiring. And as we do so, I will briefly touch a little bit about subconscious reprogramming, what the subconscious is, and how the mechanics kind of work when it comes to how we take in programming and how our subconscious holds programming and what it looks like when these programmings that we accumulate turn into cycles and loops and patterns in our subconscious mind into our consciousness. Along with this, I'll also be touching about cognitive distortions, as well as brain rewiring and how our traumas and experiences that we go through can cause distortions, as well as what we call hardwires when it comes to the wiring of our cognitive functioning and the way that we're perceiving life. So along with those topics that we'll be diving into, and I'll give you some details on so you can become more aware and develop a deeper relationship with the mind and mental body of ourselves. I will then be opening up a journaling space for you all to be able to journal. And in that journaling space, you'll be reflecting upon any experiences or any programmings, limited beliefs, or belief systems, as well as any cognitive distortions that you can identify that you are currently struggling with in your life, that you would like to bring to the surface, to bring acknowledgement and acceptance to, and then integrate into a new lesson or deeper strength and wisdom for your being. So through that journaling, you'll then have the sacred space to do so. And then you'll be able to reflect and share within the group space if you're here live. Or if you're in your own space, you'll have all the space to your own, of course, to reflect at your own pace. So along with that journaling, we will then integrate the journaling and reflection into a guided meditation that I will facilitate for you. Repetition and consistency are the two main ingredients to, reprogramming our subconscious and becoming more aware of, well, not just becoming aware of who we are, but actually embodying and aligning our being with who we are. And with that being said, the more that we do these decrees, the more that we affirm our sovereignty, affirm who we truly are, affirm our multidimensionality, and not reject it, not tell ourselves it's too far out there, it's too weird, or that there's no way we're capable of being psychic gifted, telepathic, godlike beings. Like that's who we are. We truly are. Like, look around you right now in what you're sitting in or you're laying down in, and look at every bit of the material that has been made through the hands or whatever of a human mind. Our human mind has literally created everything on this planet. So when you think about that, Exactly. It's quite a bit. And sometimes I find too is it's really just, it's the doing part. Sometimes we get so caught up in the thinking and in the mental body that we're not getting into our masculine, we're not getting into our physical energy, and we're not doing. And that's like all that we're kind of needing to do. That's why we're getting irritated physically or like angry at ourselves because we're not doing what we're thinking of. We're always thinking of it. Often what I find is when we start doing and placing ourselves where we need to be, we find ourselves doing it quite well, enjoying it, and having fun, and also seeing the reason why we wanted to do it. So just remember that, guys. Experience goes a long way than thinking about things or thinking of who you could be or who you could be capable of. When you experience it, when you are clearing out your chakras and balancing your chakras so you can be more clear and more in tune with your light body, and your light body can be accessed more in your physical life, you'll really see and remember naturally that you are more capable. You have access to more power than we have been taught in this human life by many different people. And that is what we're going to be unlocking as we continue in the SaCrEd LiGhT Community Nightcap. I really don't want to close it out and end it tonight. We have really built a wonderful start and foundation to our unconditional love of this truth tonight that's being expressed regarding our sovereignty as divine spiritual beings here in this earth realm experience through these human avatars. And I really look forward to the next nightcap as we go deep within these layers again to talk even more about what to be aware of and how we can mentally carve out our path here in this human life in a space of wholeness mindset, connected oneness, and knowing that you are connected to the source and that you are capable of accessing multidimensional information and abilities in each and every moment. Man, what a nightcap tonight, guys. Thank you guys for tapping in and supporting this journey. Enjoy the documentaries. For those of you that will be watching this replay or on the YouTube channel, you guys can watch the replay on SaCrEd LiGhT 33 on Instagram or over here on Facebook. And thank you to all my Facebook viewers as well. You can watch this replay saved on Crystal Light Robbins. And then you guys can watch this edited on full on the YouTube channel tomorrow, SaCrEd LiGhT Healing and Wellness. Thank you guys. Have a blessed and beautiful night or day wherever you are. Have fun. Enjoy your life. Remember the multidimensionality of who you are. The freedom of choice that you have to experience. And always be connected to the divine, the creator that's within you. Each and every one of us. Love you all. Have a blessed night. Have a blessed day. Uh-oh. What's it doing? This is funny. It's frozen. It's not letting me leave. Well, guys, it's not letting me leave, so... The nightcap is not letting me leave. guess we're gonna dance it out. Yep, I can see the comments. Oh. So, last reminder, since we're here. Remember the difference between living by natural universal law or living by man-made law, limited belief, and jurisdictions. And we'll touch more on that as we come back into the nightcap. But keep in mind, let that savor a little bit in the mind as you continue on with your night or day. And next time we come back around, we'll talk about it more. Maybe even take some notes or pull out anything that you know. And you're more than welcome to hop on the nightcap next time to talk about what you know about sovereignty. This is a community space. Remember, you're all welcome. But think about that. Are you living by natural law or universal law? Are you basing your beliefs, your choices, the way you see yourself and life, based off of natural and universal law? Or are you basing it off of man-made laws, man-made calendars, as well as man-made limitations? So, ponder upon that as we continue on with life until the next nightcap episode. And we'll explore more about what it looks like living in the mindset and embodying living by natural and universal law, or if we're living by man-made and limited calendars. So, we'll see if they'll let me leave the nightcap lounge. They were holding me hostage for a moment. Okay, they'll let me leave. That does it for tonight here in the Nightcap Lounge. I am Marcus Crystallite, your host. We explored sovereignty tonight. We went deep. We went real. Enjoy the documentaries that you see in this live. And enjoy the knowledge and wisdom that flows through about mental sovereignty, as well as what it looks like to become aware of our natural and universal state, and what it looks like to be under jurisdiction and limitation. Golly, love you all. Also balanced love. See you again.
And y'all should be getting as much of it as you possibly can get, because it is putting people online. Spend as much time in that sun as you possibly can.
My third eye's open, I can see past the commotion. I can't get lost in the moment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My third eye open, I can see past the commotion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Guy done been through enough, I would say. Energy different, the frequency change. My third eye is open, I don't see the same. I am not playing, I don't rap in the game. I am my affirmation manifest. I don't need the fame, I was born with the wealth. They ain't give me nothing, I got it myself. This is that dope and I'm rocking the scales. Channel energy from my life force. Tiger's eye, sunstone and clear course. Raise the vibration, what I'm here for. Connected with my solar plexus, I can feel the source. If I want it, then it's mine, that's a clear choice. Kundalini up the spine as the heat absorbs. Forget the phone where the spaceship and real stars. Where the spaceship and real stars. One point in time, I ain't had vision. Then I had a vision. Came back with purpose on the mission. Cosmic energy, astrophysics. And lining my chakras with a feeling.
But spend as much time out in that sun as you possibly can. Because it is transforming us.
My third eye's open, I can see past the commotion. I can't get lost in the moment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My third eye open, I can see past the commotion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm guaranteed a check like TSA. One in a million.